So all of these bhajans and devotional singing is calling out to that divine that is our own true nature. We are calling out to the Krishna within, to the Mahavir within, to the Shiva within, awakening that Shiva, that Krishna, that Mahavir to guide this existence, this life, and to fill it with its presence in awareness. It is already anyway filled with it, there is nothing else anyway. But only shift is, it is happening in a catatonic state of sleep. We are shifting from that sleep state to the awake state of the Shiva within, the divine within. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The Hare part of this mantra refers to the universal truth, the universal consciousness. Hare Krishna, that Krishna is consciousness. In fact, all is consciousness. And living our life with this awareness of all is consciousness, not just the pluses but the minuses, not just the good but also the bad, not just the great and saintly but also the evil, all different aspects of the same consciousness, weaving different stories that we engage in, but underneath it all, the one consciousness. which is the source of everything that there is. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Hare. Wonderful. So great, good to see everybody. Prakash ji, Jennifer ji, Purushottam, Tushar, Sandhya Ben, Mahesh. Great. So I wanted to share. So we were in Baroda for one night, the last night of Navratri, and and why Baroda for the last night? Because Baroda is the amazing center for Navratri folk dance, for Garba. So I went to engineering college in Baroda. So it's one of my cities that is close to my heart. It's a very beautiful city, which has grown dramatically. I couldn't. It's on. It's on. Um, it's where I went to college, and I hardly recognized it because it has changed so much. It has grown so much, but it's still beautiful, and it still has a charm. And the best part is this: how they have Navratri in a huge. It's a huge event. There are multiple places where they have um this gathering, and but the mind-boggling part is the size of this gathering. You cannot imagine the size of this. It's like massive. But the one ground that we went to, there were some over 1 lakh people, over 1 lakh in one place. And out of these, at one point, they say there were maybe 80,000 people dancing together, centric circles around the stage, dancing together. And oh, maybe I do need. Okay. A crowd of people milling around, and then suddenly just organizing. Most of them moving in sync. On and yeah, so it's a massive event. And what uh, the interesting part about it is everyone is just in their own little space, even though everyone is dancing together, like 50, 60, 70, 80,000 of them dancing together. Even though they are together, they are, each one is in their own little space. So it's like almost like a trance and a meditation, because you're not interacting with anyone around you. You're just dancing basically by yourself. You're part of the circle, and yet you're doing your own dance. You're not, it's not like the stick dance where you are interacting with others, and or other dances where you are dancing with a partner or with other people. No, this is an individual dance. This is 60, 80,000 people in their own little bubble, in their own space, in a state of trance. And you can imagine the outer circle takes almost 30 minutes before you come back to the same point. The circle takes 30 minutes to finish. And and it's just a amazing experience. So next year, so this year we were only part of the viewing audience, but next year I'm planning to join them and be part of the circle and do all the dancing and all of that. Uh, but the interesting part was the self discipline. There's I was just amazed. There are no volunteers telling anybody what to do. That entire sea of ocean of people, just self-regulated, you know, self-absorbed, self-driven, and self-governed and self-disciplined. And there's nobody bumping into anybody. There's no clashes. There's just the music and the dance, and this whole sea of people. So बहुत ही कुछ बिल्कुल. I had posted a little bit clips of it on the open door and commented on how it is just a pulsating sea ocean of humanity, all in sync together. It was unbelievable. So one thought I had from this experience is that there are every month of the year in India there is some important festival or the other, and every important festival has a special place where that particular fest. So for example, in January there is Uttarayan, the kite flying, and the best place for that again is Baroda or Ahmedabad. Then February there's Mardi Gras in Goa. In March there's Holi, and for that there is Vrindavan. And later on there's Durga Puja, and that's Calcutta, and like that. So I think every month we can find the season or the celebration, the festival, and the place to be for that festival, and have a year of celebration. Go from place to place. 12 places, 12 months. 12 festivals, 12 places, 12 months. Next year. How many are ready? Ready to go everywhere? Chalenge? Chalenge साथ में?
I'm in.
Yes, absolutely. Great. Who was that? Who was saying?
Me, Mahesh.
Mahesh is in, Jennifer ji is in, Pandit is in. Everyone is in. चलो आ सके ना आ सके वो देखा जाएगा. But at least you are in. अभी तो इसका मजा ले लेते हैं, बाद में होगा ना होगा देख लेंगे. But फिलहाल तो इसका मजा ले लेते हैं कि we can all do this together. So get ready. And then of course the the mind is, when you are in that space of peace and calm and beauty, um, other other ideas keep popping in. तो next year के लिए 12 months का ये है, तो उसके बाद के साल के लिए 12 months. So every place in the world has its own specialty and a special time of year. Like cherry blossom जो होता है जापान में होता है particular month में होता है. Christmas in Europe or Bethlehem, for example, and all of that. So plan number 2 is for one spot in the world, which is the famous one for that month in that season, in different places in the world. Go and celebrate the whole world in the best place for that particular experience. So those are the plans. Dekhte hain. I'm just letting the universe know. बाद में क्या होता है क्या नहीं होता है वो जो होगा वो ठीक है. वो इस शरीर और मन के बस की बात नहीं है. We will move by however we are guided. But at least we are ready, that's all. So get ready. And so we had a whirlwind of a tour to Baroda. I visited my college. Took a selfie in front of my classroom, which I rarely attended. Which I rarely went to. And वहाँ भी खड़े खड़े मैं सोच रहा था कि I would like to attend one of the lectures. जब तभी वाला जो lecture था, हमारे प्रोफेसर पांडे थे. पंड्या प्रोफेसर पंड्या. पांडे जी तो यहाँ पे हैं, वो पंड्या थे. तो वो पंड्या
वही मैं
प्रोफेसर
सोच
का
रहा था, मैं तो
क्लास मुझे
नागपुर
अटेंड कर
में पढ़ाया मैंने 1 साल, आपके वहां कैसे पहुंच गया?
हाँ, तो मैंने सोचा कि चलो ये इनका ही क्लास अटेंड कर लेता हूँ, अभी आज यहाँ तक आया हूँ तो। लेकिन मैं लेट हो गया। As usual, I was late for class. In those days also, I was always late if I attended at all. Mostly I didn't attend, and when I attended, I was late. But yeah, yesterday again I was late. On Monday, actually, Monday I was late by about only about 46 years. That class was over 46 years ago. And I missed it. But it was great just being in that space again. So yeah, hi Anamika, welcome. So we wanted to continue talking a little bit more about this book. कितनों ने थोड़ा सा पढ़ लिया है, सुन लिया है? Let me see a show of hands. Ah, Mahesh, you read the whole thing?
No, not the whole thing. I've started reading it. I'm around page 80 now, but now I'll
80.
kill it soon. Yeah.
Okay. ठीक है, but this is a uh, okay. So great. Till chapter 4, Raki. Enjoying it? Enjoying the book, Raki?
Yes, I'm loving it. Yesterday
Great,
I
isn't
was
it?
listening to it. I'm not reading, I'm just listening to it, and I don't know. I think I fell asleep or I went into trance state, so just don't know what happened. But it was amazing.
अच्छा.
I connect with all the names of those musicians.
It
He
is.
states
Huh.
the music he listened to, so I can connect with that.
Right. This is from that era, right? The
That's right.
Woodstock and all of
That's
that.
right. That's right.
Yeah, that's
That's right.
our days also.
That's right.
We know exactly who he's talking about.
Yeah.
We've heard them growing up.
Right.
So exactly. And Woodstock itself, although we weren't there, but we know all about Woodstock. It's our like just one
Yeah.
generation before us.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. So great. So whoever has read parts of it, Jennifer ji, you have also read some of it. What are you seeing, getting, hearing, feeling?
What touches you is the very sincerity of the heart, the yearning heart for the divine, the God, and the way he goes on and on despite all what is coming his way, you know. It
Yeah,
really touches you a lot. And
right.
then he finds this girl whom he feels she's perfect,
I know,
so perfect for him, and
the
yet, you
perfect
know,
companion.
perfect companion, but he sort of gives her up because he doesn't want anything to come between him and God, you know. There's this song,
Yes.
you know. Ishi tara bhakt hame, tari bhakti madin guzari, ato taro maro bevni vache, koi dujo na ave. So it's like, you know, he's like wants a complete merger. He doesn't want any distraction. Though he would love to have that woman in his life, but still he sort of
He
goes
just moves on. He
yeah,
just
moves on.
says bye
So
to
it's
her and moves
very
on.
beautiful.
Very amazing. And similarly, what Anamika talked about last time about giving up that one last thing that connected him to civilization, which was his little harmonica, which he played.
Yeah.
तो उसको भी उसने जो फेंक दिया गंगा मैया में, बस कि ये भी नहीं चाहिए. So
And
just
Sanjeevji, like I've completed the book, and
you finished it good.
yeah, so uh, he uh, he comes back to India, and in your journey of finding truth, uh, whosoever has come into your journey, whosoever has been in that path, those people are so special. And when he comes back, they are not there. they've left because they were all older than him. That was really like really touching, and because I always pray that uh, n- I got initiated by Om Swamiji. So he's of my age. He's around 41, 42. So I always pray to God that Bhagwan, मेरे से पहले उनको मत भेजना. I would not be able to take it. So that feeling which went was really, really, because you don't want your people who are in your path to leave you, especially in this journey of truth. So that detachment is not there, still not there, because we don't see them as one. So
That's exactly the point. That is exactly the point. Ki the attachment comes only when you see somebody as separate from you, and when you drop that separation, then it's just all you, whether in this form or that form, whether on this planet or not. There is nothing to regret, there's nothing to mourn, there's nothing to grieve.
so
um,
this also, just 1 minute, I'll take 1 minute. This also reminded me of Krishna Das, since we all went there and heard him. So when Krishna Das got to know that his guru has left the planet, so he went mad, and he he went mad, and he just didn't understand
deal
what
with
to
it,
do and
yeah.
what is the purpose of my life. Even I don't want to live. But Ramdas, he was his companion, he found it didn't affect him, because for him he was right there,
Still present, yeah.
still present. So then Krishnadas came back to India. He went to this dham in Nainital. I think it is called as Kachi Dham.
Kenchi.
And when he sat there, he got that oneness where he found him there within himself, and all that separation was gone. So if you see that everything is so aligned, and yet everything is so separated, so beautiful yet so painful.
Right, exactly, right. Mahesh, anything?
Yeah, Sanjeevji, I want to ask you one thing. You mentioned that he threw away his harmonica and all that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, is it necessary to go that far? I wouldn't like to throw away my guitar or harmonica. I love music and I get so much from it.
Right. It's a see, ultimately there is no there is nothing right or wrong about either way. Whether
Okay.
you it's a matter of what space you are in, and
Right.
are you able to surrender to that space, whatever space life brings you to. Are you able to surrender to it? That is the only question. In that surrenderfulness, if it comes to you that, for example, that the divine music is so present in my heart, so deeply ingrained, and it's so there every single moment, that I don't even need this prop anymore called a harmonica. The music is just flowing, the music is just there. And in that state, it is completely uh, redundant to even have that, to even have the harmonica. Similarly, for if you're in a state of devotion where the divine is present everywhere and anywhere, there is no need to go to a temple. And you can do away with every ritual and all of that. There's no requirement for that. So unless it happens, there's no, and you can't make it happen. That's the other paradoxical
Right.
part. You cannot throw away your guitar and feel that same surrenderfulness by throwing away the
Right.
guitar as a physical
Right.
act. It won't work. It
Right.
doesn't happen. You'll probably
Right.
regret that action for the rest of your life. Why did I throw that one thing away? So it's not like you need to or I need to do that particular thing. The lesson to learn from that is, are we able to surrender? And seeing an example of being able to surrender to such an extent that whatever the guidance, whatever that surrendered state suggested or prompted or required in that moment, you allow yourself to flow with it because you're so sure of the divine presence, that you are that divine, that separation isn't there, and you're able to live without food and live without any, barely any clothes and no possessions and no money, and you're still surviving for months and months and months and years and years and years. And so it's that if it comes to us, Allah, let
Yeah.
it be so. That's all we can
Yeah.
say. If it
Maybe
comes,
somebody else would just burst into joy and start playing the harmonica. That would be
yeah,
his way of
of
expressing his
expressing,
surrender.
correct,
His
correct,
surrender. Yeah.
correct. No, very true. And in fact, he was doing that on that rock while he was sitting on that rock and the Ganges. He was playing it, and he played it beautifully, and he loved that, and it was an expression of that love. But then it was over. It was done. He was not anymore attached even. So when he is arrived, when we arrive at a state where we are so clear on our who we really are, the attachment of the body has dropped, right? I mean, the guy was living on one little carrot, 1 carrot a day. That's all he had, and water for months. That's all he had, and he still was okay because that attachment to the body had also disappeared. So if the attachment to the body, which is our most precious possession, is also dropped away, then what's a guitar and what's a harmonica? So that's the space that and again, it doesn't work the other way. You cannot give it up and get to that state. It has to happen. It has to happen. And that's where people go off the track a lot of times. What they do is they think that by giving this up, I will get into that state. And it doesn't work that way. So you force yourself. I mean, you hear so many stories of people जो संन्यास लेते हैं फिर 2 साल के बाद वापस आ जाते हैं because it just wasn't there for them, and they go through those rituals of going through that, but it's not up for them. So yeah, so whatever is in that moment, whatever that moment, let that moment, and all we can say is let those moments of grace, those opportunities to surrender, when they come to me, let me be awake, let me be available, let me be alive, let me be conscious, let me be there for it to happen. And it's that state of oneness, and that separation is so not real for him at that point, and that miracles happen in those spaces. So you guys are going to read the book, but I'm going to give away some of it. These are spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, but you'll see, you'll read it and come to it in your own time anyway. But his friend and him, who were meditating in Greece at some point, and he got the calling, go to India, and his friend got the calling, go to Israel, on the same day. On the same day, they met in the evening like they always did, and he said, they were both excited to say that I've just received a, a, a message or a guidance that is telling me to go to India. And his friend says, I got a message also. I got such an urge. And the message says, go to Israel. And so rather than convincing the other of the other's guidance, they both parted ways. They separated. And one went towards Israel and he went to India. And not knowing, I mean, this is before, there are no addresses, there are no phones, there's no phone number, there's no home. There is like, would they ever meet again kind of thing. So yeah, I want to get to that question. Who asked that question about family and all? Raki, we'll come to that. So through the travels, goes through Europe, finds himself in Nepal at one point, and he's staying in Nepal in Kathmandu, and one day he just says, there's some shivling which is there on the outskirts of Nepal, of Kathmandu, and decides to walk to that shivling. and it usually wouldn't rain, but that day it was raining, and he's on the road, no umbrella, no nothing. It just has this one set of clothes, which he washes the top and puts it back on. He puts it at the bottom, what takes out the bottom, washes it, puts it on the top, and back and forth. That's his one pair. And he's walking on this road, and he sees a guy in front of him with an umbrella. So he says, let me see if I can get a little bit of shelter from the rain. So he just catches up to that guy and keeps walking with him under the umbrella. And the guy with the umbrella didn't really care whether he was there or not there. He just kept going at his own pace. And eventually they came to a turning, and they were about to part ways, and they turn around, and it's his friend. That friend who went off towards Israel. They meet on this road in Kathmandu, and they said, like, the chance. He said, he also came to India after Israel, thinking he would meet Radhanand Swami. What's his name at that point? Peter? What is it?
Anath Swami.
No, his name at that time. Richard, yeah. He said, I thought I'll meet Richard in India. I said, forget it. Look at the number of people, and this is just one city, and I don't even know which city he's in. And there's no chance on the planet that I will ever meet. No way. And he goes around on his own merry way. And these guys meet like this. It's just miraculous, beyond miraculous. It just mind-boggling how. So the universe aligns when you are in that space of oneness. Miracles just happen. And this is the inspiration that we can derive from this book. So Raki's. So one other incident I wanted to relate was when he arrives at the border in India, after he has traveled through, Turkey, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, some of the roughest terrain, where sometimes between borders there is what is known as no man's land, where he was told that there are mines lying around, landmines lying around from World War I and World War II, that nobody has bothered to clear. So you may step into a mine any moment, and there's nothing you can do. You're just gone. But he still went between those borders walking, and with barely any light to guide him, and he just went and entrusted himself to the divine and went. So after all these ordeals, almost dying 5 times on the way, he arrives at the border at Peshawar, not Peshawar, at Lahore, I think, the border crossing into India. And the lady refused to let him in, the Indian border security immigration person, because she said, you have no money. We have enough beggars in India. We don't want one more beggar. You go away. And he pleaded, he begged. Can you imagine? This is 6 months. He's been traveling for 6 months and finally arrives at the border in India. After 6 months of nearly dying, you arrive at the border and she won't let him in to India. And so he kept pleading every couple of hours. He would go sit under a tree, go after 2 hours and beg. And she would say no. And it went on like this. And finally, it was time for her duty to change. And one Sardarji, Sikh person, took her post. And she pointed to him, Richard, and said, told him, this guy, usko andar nahi lena hai, and I'm leaving. And she goes away, and the Sikh man takes the spot. So, of course, he went to him, and again he begged. And he said, there's no way I can let you in. And he just, he just melted. He just went into tears. And he said, today I'm a beggar. You think I don't have money. But if you let me in, I will help your people. I will help you. I will help your people. That is my promise to you. Please, 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 please just let me in. I love your country and I love your people and I love your culture and I will help you. And something divine intervention, whatever you say. This Sardar ji says, देखा जाएगा जो होना हो, चल आजा बेटा अंदर तू. And he lets him in. And the story goes on. He goes to Vrindavan and all kinds of incredible adventures. And true to his word, he did come back many years later to India and established all these ashrams, which are still running, hospitals and schools and orphanages and so many institutions that he established in and around Mumbai because of that promise that he had made to that at the border of India. So he comes back and does that. So incredible. So here's a question by Raki. Raki says, sir, to achieve that state, it took him a lot to give up. For people like us who are married and family, how do we get to that state of moksha? Is it possible? So the circumstances of our life, the story of our life. Raki, you are there? You can turn on your video. Yeah. ठीक है. So so the circumstances of our life is just the story. Okay, it's just a story. ये जो कहानी चल रही है, called I'm married, I have children, I have a job, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, is just a story. The question is of being in that state of surrenderfulness. So being in that state of surrenderfulness is 99% of the whole situation, the entire moment. The 1% is the story of your life. So whether you are in a forest in Afghanistan, I mean a desert in Afghanistan, or you are in a 5-star hotel in Mumbai, those two situations are simply just 1%. It's just 1% of the whole thing. 99% is, where are you? Are you in a state of surrender? Are you in a state of okayness? Are you in a state of searching and finding and experiencing the divine that you are? That is the 99% of this, of the whole. It's like the tip of the iceberg is the circumstance of our life. 99% is happening below the surface. The iceberg jo hota hai, wo, you are from Canada, so you know icebergs. So iceberg, tip of the iceberg is above the ocean, but the entire mountain of ice is below the ocean. And we think that utna hi hai, utna nahi hai. The mountain is below the surface. So no matter where you are, you can be in that state of okayness. You can be in that state of surrenderfulness. Knowing that this body is nothing. It's just a temporary vehicle for me to go here and there and speak this and that and chabad and गाना गाओ और ये सब करो. ये छोटा सा एक वाहन है मेरे लिए. And when you are in that state, you can be in that state of surrender, the state of bliss, no matter what that tip of the iceberg is saying. And the tip of the iceberg is not something, is just what is happening. We anyway cannot control it. We don't control it. When we allow whatever is happening to happen, and we allow ourselves to be fully engaged in whatever is happening, that is the state of surrender. वो कहानी बदलने की जरूरत नहीं है. The plot and the story does not need to change. It does not need to change. What is possible is to be in that state of okayness, no matter whether you are in a 5-star hotel or you are in the middle of a forest or a desert with no food. Either way, it doesn't matter. Are you in a state of surrender? So surrendering and enjoying and being with what is, that is possible no matter where you are. So what if you're married? So what if you have children? In fact, the story is a little different. Are you in a state of surrender to your um, to those circumstances of your life? A state of okayness, a state of lovingness. हमारा सिचुएशन ये है कि हम उतना भी लेट गो नहीं कर सकते. In spite of, I was just, the one thought I got after reading this book is, look at the level of hardship that Richard is willing to go through. और हम तो यहाँ यार आराम से एसी में बैठकर काउच पे एसी में बैठकर we are searching for the truth, so called. And even that we find sometimes, oh my God, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this. So take that first step. Surrender to your circumstance, no matter what it is. Surrender to this moment. And actually surrendering to this moment and the next moment and the next moment, that's the whole journey. Whether you're surrendering lying in a Vrindavan ashram, or you're surrendering to your child or your husband or your spouse sitting in your living room, how does that matter? You don't need to change the circumstance. And this is where we miss the plot. We think somehow the circumstance has to change. I need to be in an ashram, I need to get initiated, I need to go to this guru, I need to do this, I need to do 500 japs of this, and then I can. Nothing doing. This here right now is it. This here right now. Are you able to be okay in a traffic jam? Are you being able to be okay when your body says, oh, I need medical attention, I need surgery, I need whatever? Are you okay in that? Are you able to surrender in that to the divine will, to the divine that is driving you, that is animating your life, and finding that divine in every moment, in everything? राम और रावण दोनों को आप अपना सकते हो क्या? जो आप दोनों ही है आप में, दोनों को लेकर जी सकते हो क्या? On Dasera, don't just celebrate Ram, celebrate Ravan also. That's what makes up this story. And you only, when you're not attached to the story, is when you can celebrate both. But if you're attached to the story, then you can only celebrate Ram. You cannot celebrate Ravan. When you're not attached to the story, both are just stories. Ravan's story is his story, and Ram's story is his story. You can celebrate both. So I don't know if Raki is still there. So Raki, that's the thing. It has nothing to do with this outer circumstance. Being in okayness, being in love, being in godliness, experiencing that moment to moment, moment to moment. Don't waste energy on trying to change your circumstances.
संजीव
That's
जी,
just, yeah. हाँ,
मुझे
but
आप जो बता रहे हैं ना, ये बुक से जो मिला, तो आपकी थॉट कितनी है, व्हाट इज द
हाँ,
केयर
right,
कुछ नॉलेज में या अपने आप को समझने की, या उनके लिए, मतलब जहाँ से शुरू हुए, एक कंफर्टेबल लाइफ छोड़ के, और जहाँ शुरू किया, पैसा नहीं है पास में, ऐसे सर्कमस्टेंसेस आए कि बहुत बार उनका लाइफ भी डेंजर में आया, और नेक्स्ट मोमेंट या आज जेब में कुछ नहीं है और शाम को कुछ मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा, कहाँ रुकेंगे, क्या खाएंगे, ये कहीं कुछ पता नहीं है। लेकिन उनको किसी से कंप्लेंट नहीं है, हर बार दिमाग में एक ही चीज है, मुझे इंडिया पहुंचना है और मुझे अपने आप को समझना है।
right.
और वो थर्स्ट इतनी थी कि उनके लिए कंफर्ट कोई मायने नहीं रखता,
मायने
कोई
नहीं रखता था.
रिलेशन कोई रिलेशन मायने नहीं रखते, पेरेंट्स को भी आराम से छोड़ दिया, इतने बहुत नजदीक के दोस्त थे उनको भी आराम से छोड़ दिया। और वो जो डिटैचमेंट था, क्योंकि एक एक चीज के लिए उनका दिल भाग रहा था कि मैं क्या हूँ, मैं कौन हूँ, ये मुझे समझना है,
बस समझना
और
है.
स्पिरिचुअलिटी क्या है ये मुझे समझना है। तो इतने सारे जो खतरे, दूसरा कोई भी आदमी रहता है, एक बार लाइफ डेंजर में आएगा तो बोलता है चलो जाने दो, ठीक है वापस चलते। लेकिन
Right.
हर बार उनको मतलब इतने ज्यादा खतरे थे कि 5-6 बार लाइफ उनका डेंजर में आया, और कैसे कैसे लोगों के बीच में गए, कैसे कैसे टेम्पटेशन आए, एक ब्यूटीफुल गर्ल उनको इनवाइट कर रही है,
Right.
उसको भी छोड़ के मतलब कोई टेम्पटेशन उनको नहीं रोक पा रहा, ना कोई खतरा रोक पा रहा, ना कोई
Correct.
कोई चीज रोक पाएगी।
Single
तो
minded, single minded.
मुझे जो सबसे ज्यादा कुछ मिला अभी तक 110
Yeah,
पेजेस से खोलता मैं,
absolutely.
तो वो जो एक थर्स्ट जो प्यास है जिसको अभीप्सा बोलते हैं कि मुझे ये चाहिए, और
Abhipsa,
ये प्यास जितनी
Abhipsa.
गहरी है उतनी मेरी प्रायोरिटीज भी चेंज होगी। आज मैं नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ क्योंकि मेरी बाकी प्रायोरिटीज बहुत है। मेरा घर ठीक से चलना चाहिए, मेरा हर चीज में कंफर्टेबल रखूँ, और मेरे
Exactly.
देश में कहीं कुछ होना चाहिए, और मेरा कंफर्ट भी नहीं जाना चाहिए। और सारा संभाल के मुझे स्पिरिचुअली समझना है या मुझे अपने आप में उतरना है।
Correct.
दोनों चीजें नहीं, ये मेरा लर्निंग है कि
Right.
मुझे सब कुछ चाहिए और साथ में स्पिरिचुअलिटी भी चाहिए, ये पॉसिबल नहीं है। वो क्वेस्ट किया जब तक थर्स्ट मेरी अंदर से आग नहीं लगती कि मुझे ये चाहिए या मुझे समझना है, तब तक ये मैं कहीं नहीं पहुंच सकता। तो भले आश्रम में
Right.
चला जाओ और कुछ भी।
सही है, सही है. But only one small addition I would give कि when you let go of that कि मुझे comfort चाहिए, मुझे luxury चाहिए, और मैं when you let go of that and you are in that quest for divine, for yourself, वो quest में आप इतने लगे हुए हो कि वो luxury और comfort कोई मायने ही नहीं रखता है.
नहीं, दिमाग में
And the
भी नहीं आता।
funny thing is, अब वो ध्यान में वो उसका कोई मतलब ही नहीं है. But the funny thing is that that luxury and comfort becomes automatic, becomes natural, because if you are comfortable on the beach and next to the river, why do you need a 5-star bed? You don't need. You are in fact maybe more beautiful, more luxury, because that soft sand on a river bed you cannot replicate with any Dunlop pillow.
Right, very true.
So in fact you get that which you left, it becomes yours automatically and naturally. तो दोनों बातें हैं. एक तो आप
Perfect.
उसको
Wow.
छोड़ने को लिए तैयार हो, और उसको छोड़ने के बाद वही आपके पास ढेर सारा भरपूर, बिकॉज यू आर द होल यूनिवर्स, यू आर द होल डिवाइन. देयर इज नथिंग दैट इज जिससे आप वंचित हो या जिससे यू आर एक्सक्लूडेड फ्रॉम. एवरीथिंग इज इंक्लूडेड.
Right.
That is the little interesting paradox. Beautiful.
उसको ढूंढने की जरूरत नहीं, अपने आप आ रहा है
अपने
खटखटा
आप
के।
आ रहा है, ढूंढने की जरूरत नहीं, अपने आप ही आएगा, आता ही है, आता ही है. Wonderful, wonderful. Simple thing like he describes one point where he's in Mumbai, and there's a big gathering happening in Azad Maidan, where this lot of yogis and so many people are giving lectures, and one of them was this Krishna Murti. And he goes in there and he thinks he's sitting in one corner कि मुझे पता भी लगेगा कि नहीं, मैं मुझे अंदर जाने को भी मिले. But he was okay if I get it, okay. If I'm not, it's okay. But he walks in, and for no reason, just automatically he is carried by the people towards the front. Not only to the front, he is invited to the stage, and he is sitting on the stage and listening to this. So एक तरह से बिल्कुल अटैचमेंट नहीं था कि ओ मुझे सुनना है, मुझे आगे जाना चाहिए. और जैसे ही वो छोड़ दिया, he ended up on the stage instead of in the back nowhere. एंट्री भी मिलेगी कि नहीं सोच रहा था, and instead he is a special guest of the speaker and all of that. So it's a very beautiful miracle that life brings to us. Great. So don't worry about your circumstance. Your circumstance is not that important. It is just 1% of the story. जो 99% है, जो यहाँ है, उसको समझते जाइए, देखते जाइए, जीते जाइए, and bring that to that 1%. Bring that 99 to that 1%, instead of trying to change that 1%. Beautiful. So one quote that I want to talk about next time is somebody, when they said God is in the detail, कि हम ऊपर ऊपर से बातें करते हैं वो सही है, लेकिन जब आप किसी भी बात पे डिटेल में जाते हो, that is where you find the divine presence in the detail, whether it's a painting or a poem or a song or music. detail mein hai. And there is
एक
also
सेशन आपने
लिया
एक
है
सेशन
already.
आपने लिया
अच्छा
है
चलो दोबारा करेंगे.
मैथमेटिक्स के फिगर लेके दिया था.
Right, God is in the detail. So but there is also an opposite saying that devil is in the detail. The devil is in the detail. कि हम सोचते हैं कि हाँ ये हो जाएगा, पर जब ये उसमें उतरते हो अरे बाप रे ये भी करना पड़ेगा, ये भी करना पड़ेगा, ये भी है. So the devil is also in the detail. God is also in the detail. And how do we navigate through this beautiful mystery? We'll talk about this next time. By the way, ये book की जो बात हम कर रहे थे, we never mentioned the name in case somebody is listening to this recording wondering which book it is. It's The Journey Home. The Journey Home by Radhanand Swami. So everyone read it, enjoy, and we'll meet next week.
Sanjeevji, it's time to do some offline satsangs now.
ऑफलाइन सत्संग. यस. अरे आप आए नहीं ना वेडनेसडे को, कितना मजा आया हमें वो संधू पैलेस.
Yeah. There was something in the family. I got caught up with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have liked to come definitely.
Right. So that is one satsang. So but join. I've made one group called the Kirtan group, which is for
Okay.
offline. तो ऑफलाइन
Okay,
का सत्संग होएगा अभी. I'm at least saying let's at least meet once a month to begin with. At least once a
Yeah.
month. Offline. Yeah, क्योंकि there's no reason to always just meet online. Very true.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Jai Gurudev.